Hi everyone, welcome to an episode of the Root Culturist. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about Philodendron Melanochrysum. So let's take a look at the plant. So this is the Philodendron Melanochrysum, and it's not the velvety philodendron out there. And so we do a mix of free draining and moisture retaining in the mix together, half free draining to half moisture retaining. We want the media to dry slightly such that the plant is not drenched in water by your next watering, but also such that the roots, the new growth for the plant roots, they dry out completely, that during your next watering they'll have to restart again. And so that slows down the stage for the plant when it has to grow. We prefer to grow them in an area that has not so intense sunlight, so we try to grow them slightly where it's either shaded or dappled, because these plants are plants that they reach out to surfaces and try to reach out for as much sun as they can. But in some instances where they are not acclimatized to that much amount of sunlight and you give them too much sun, their leaves starts to have these little blotches over here, and that's where the sun ray was too intense for the plant. The thing about the Melanochrysum is that you give them a pole and they do adapt well to a pole. And you can see that the aerial roots over here. So for fertilizing, we give them soil-rich fertilizer, and that amount really depends on how big the plant is. It always depends on the manufacturer's recommendation for the fertilizer that you use. A little bit more onto the moss pole is that if you keep the moss pole moist, you can then do cuttings at different sections where because the plant has really latched on, the roots have really latched on, you can do segmented cuttings and then you can propagate your plant from there. So one thing about the Philodendron Melanochrysum is that you notice that the initial small leaves are pretty small, and as they get opportunity to trail up, they produce bigger leaves, and those leaves can be even bigger than your palm. Which is one of the beauties of the Melanochrysum, is that they are quite adaptable to our environment in Singapore climate, and so you don't have to have different requirements for them. You don't have to put them in a humidity chamber. They do well in our Southeast Asia climate. So a hardy plant like this is quite good in environment, because if you look at it, a plant that is pretty long lasting, not susceptible to pretty much a lot of insects or the occasional spider mites. But occasionally, if you're growing them outside, you do get a little bit of insect bites, or for example, birds pecking onto the leaves. And so that is unavoidable when you try to grow outside. But if you grow them indoors, the leaves should be undamaged most of the time. And also, given a normal situation where you don't grow them in a full direct sunlight, where the afternoon sun is shining directly at the leaves, the plant will be very beautiful. So I'm just going to show you the plant that we received, and then so this is how it looks like almost a year later. What you notice is that after you receive your plant, the initial couple of months, the plant may throw a couple of new leaves from the previous growth that it was in its previous environment, and then after that, it would start to acclimatize. So you may notice that the old leaves will start to grow, turn brown, and start to drop off. And after that, maybe in another 6 months' time, they will start to shoot up and start to be more adaptable to your environment, and that's where they start to look very beautiful and majestic. So this is an example of a hardy plant that we recommend that if you grow out there, you want to try something new, and you want to try something like under the Philodendron, you could try something like this. So do let us know in the comment section below, how was your first experience with the Philodendron Melanochrysum, and was there anything that you found difficult about this plant?